Good afternoon. My name is Larry Klayman. You know me as the founder of both Judicial Watch and now Freedom Watch. And I'm coming to you today about a new episode of media bias. In fact, it's more than media bias, it's an outrage. I know all about Time magazine. Back in the 1990s, when I was fighting Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton tooth and nail at Judicial Watch and getting courts to rule that in fact her husband had committed a crime when he released the Privacy Act protected files of a woman he sexually harassed in the Oval Office by the name of Kathleen Willey, Time magazine did a story about me, and it was a feature story. And they came in and they took pictures, they made me look sinister, they doctored the photo, because Time magazine, along with the rest of the leftist media, has always been very anti-conservative, very anti-populist, very anti-middle America. And they've reached a new low with the Time magazine Person of the Year that's just coming out with regard to Donald Trump. Just look at the cover, I'm going to show it to you. They make him look like the modern day version of Hitler. This is the cover of Time magazine. They did the same thing with me, they've done it with a lot of other conservatives. And we're not overly sensitive, but it's an issue that needs to be addressed in this country, and in fact it was addressed in the last election when Hillary Clinton suffered a resounding defeat after years and years, 30 years of attempting to be president. She portrayed herself as the Joan of Arc of the liberal movement, a woman who had been scorned but was going to make it as president on behalf of all women. Well, news to Hillary Clinton, women as well as others rejected her soundly. Let me read to you what Time magazine has said about Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton's not going away. She's the Wicked Witch of the left, and just like the Wicked Witch, I watched The Wizard of Oz the other night. She will reappear over and over again until the legal house is dropped on her and she melts finally and permanently into the sunset. And that's what we're doing at Freedom Watch. We're nonpartisan, but this woman needs to be removed from public life in a legal way because all she does is harm, and the harm is being caused by trying to undermine the Clinton presidency of Donald Trump. This is a Freudian slip. She doesn't want him to govern. She's orchestrated these recounts through Jill Stein, her buddy, and there's so far been no showing of any fraud. In fact, we've intervened at Freedom Watch to make sure it's done fairly and honestly, like I did in the year 2000 at Judicial Watch. You can go to our website at freedomwatchusa.org. Let me read to you Fox News' characterization of what was written by Time. While describing Trump as the real changemaker of 2016, the magazine also ragged on the Republican president-elect as a huckster and a demagogue, while reserving its most glowing praise for runner-up Hillary Clinton, whom the edition breathlessly described as an American Moses. Well, I got something to inform Time magazine about. Moses never had a Palestinian girlfriend by the name of Abedin, who has ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, the granddaddy of all terrorist organizations through her family. Moses never had a wife who was a pervert like Anthony Weiner, who was out there basically as a front for Abedin and her relationship with Hillary Clinton. This is an absolute disgrace to compare Hillary Clinton to Moses. It disparages not just Trump, it disparages Moses. And here's what else Time magazine wrote. She's the woman who was almost president. She is what might have been and what yet will be. Long before she ever ran for office, Clinton built up a sturdy shield. Decades of attacks on her looks, her judgment, her marriage, her motivations left Clinton reflexively contained and guarded. But armor both insulates and obscures, and those self-protective traits may have come to the most damning mistakes, like the creation of a private email server and the fumbling rationale for it. And then they add what I just said, like an American Moses, she was an imperfect prophet, leading women to the edge of the promised land. Now it's up to another woman to enter it. There have been very many great women throughout world history. Queen Victoria of England, Golda Meir of Israel, the great Margaret Thatcher of Great Britain. Women can be fine chief executives, presidents, prime ministers, or whatever. But Hillary Clinton is no Margaret Thatcher, believe me. And I wouldn't be raising this and talking about it now, except for the fact that this liberal media, this leftist media, is trying to prop her up and trying to undermine the legitimacy of the Trump presidency. The American people have spoken. They were fed up with the reactionary rule of President Barack Hussein Obama, who favored radical black interests and radical Muslim interests at every step of the way, who ignored the American worker, who protected only his people, but not all people in this country. People were fed up, and when she wrapped herself in the shield of Barack Obama, she in effect made herself Barack Obama. And you layer that on top of the fact that she's a criminal, that she violated the law not just through 40 scandals during her husband's administration, for which she was nearly indicted even then. The independent counsel Robert Ray found that he wouldn't indict her because he didn't think a District of Columbia jury would convict, a very Democrat jury. But she committed crimes with regard to this private email server. It wasn't just a mistake, as Time magazine portrays it. So I'm raising all these issues in context because as I speak, underway are recounts in 3 states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. This is a subterfuge. It's meant to undermine the legitimacy of the Trump presidency. Time magazine has continued this effort to, along with Mrs. Clinton, destroy this country. I have not endorsed any candidate. I will never do that. But I will fight Mrs. Clinton tooth and nail until she is eliminated as the wicked witch of the left legally in a court of law. You have my pledge and my sacred honor to do that, just like the Founding Fathers back in 1776 did the same thing with King George III. So go to our website at freedomwatchusa.org. freedomwatchusa.org. Help us. We're the mouse that roared. We're David against Goliath. We're taking on this very leftist establishment that continues to try to destroy this country, in part through a leftist media, entities, despicable entities like Time magazine, that will say and do anything to further their socialist cause. This is not about man versus woman. It's not about black against white. It is about all Americans. I will stand there for all Americans as the head of Freedom Watch to protect their civil rights, and I have. And I want you to join me in our quest for freedom, to continue the freedom in this country and to restore it, because of the last 8 years in particular, and before that the Clinton presidency, it was sorely damaged. Contact us at freedomwatchusa.org. May God bless you. May God bless your family. May God bless America during this sacred holiday period.